Every NBA team has made at least one trade so bad, fans still argue about it decades later. Today, we're breaking down all 30 teams and their worst trade ever, the year it happened, who they traded with, what they got back, why they did it, and how it blew up in their face. Some of these changed the league forever, some ruined dynasties, and some are just straight up embarrassing. Let's get into it. Starting in the Eastern Conference, we have the Atlanta Hawks. In 1956, the St. Louis Hawks traded the draft rights of Bill Russell to the Boston Celtics for Ed Macauley and Cliff Hagan. At the time, the Hawks believed Macauley, a six-time All-Star, gave them a win-now piece, and Hagan was viewed as a strong long-term scorer. But the move became one of the biggest disasters in NBA history. Russell went on to win 11 championships, 5 MVPs, and became the greatest winner the sport has ever seen. Meanwhile, the Hawks won just one title before fading into irrelevance. This wasn't just a bad trade, it was the birth of a dynasty for someone else. Next up is the Boston Celtics. In 1997, the Celtics traded rookie Chauncey Billups and Dee Brown to the Toronto Raptors for Kenny Anderson, Popeye Jones, and Zan Tabak. Boston's front office felt Billups wasn't developing fast enough and wanted a veteran point guard to stabilize the team. Instead, Billups became a Finals MVP, a 5-time All-Star, and one of the best leaders of his generation. The players Boston got back made little long-term impact. This was a rare moment the Celtics gave up on a star way too early. Now we have the Brooklyn Nets. In 2013, the Nets traded 3 unprotected first-round picks and the right to swap another to the Boston Celtics for Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Jason Terry. Brooklyn believed the aging stars would push them into championship contention. Instead, the team won just one playoff series, while the picks became Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, the foundation of Boston's modern dynasty. This wasn't just a bad trade, it was a franchise detonation. Next up, we have the Charlotte Hornets. In 1996, the Hornets drafted Kobe Bryant and immediately traded him to the Los Angeles Lakers for Vlade Divac. Charlotte wanted a proven center to stay competitive and didn't believe a 17-year-old guard was worth the risk. Kobe became an all-time great, winning 5 championships and becoming the face of the NBA. Divac lasted 2 seasons in Charlotte. This is the definition of a trade that became a lifetime regret. Now we have the Chicago Bulls, who in 2006 traded the draft rights of LaMarcus Aldridge to the Portland Trail Blazers for Tyrese Thomas and Victor Crayappa. Chicago believed Thomas's athleticism made him the next Shawn Marion. Aldridge became a 7-time All-Star and one of the best scoring forwards of his era. Thomas peaked early and faded quickly. This was a classic case of falling in love with potential over production. Next up is the Cleveland Cavaliers. In 2017, the Cavs traded Kyrie Irving to the Boston Celtics for Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, Ante Zizic, and a 2018 first-round pick. Cleveland believed Thomas could replace Kyrie's scoring and that the pick would help them rebuild. Instead, Thomas was injured, Crowder didn't fit, and the pick became Colin Sexton, a good player but not a franchise changer. Kyrie remained a superstar. This trade slammed shut the Cavs' championship window. Now we have the Detroit Pistons, who in 2008, the Pistons traded Chauncey Billups, Antonio McDyess, and Chase Sam to the Denver Nuggets for Allen Iverson. Detroit wanted to shake up the roster and create cap space for future moves. Instead, Iverson clashed with the coaching staff, the team chemistry collapsed, and Detroit's 6-year run of the Eastern Conference Finals appearances ended instantly. Billups led Denver to the conference finals, and this trade marked the end of an era in Detroit. Next up, Indiana Pacers. In 2011, the Pacers traded the draft rights of Kawhi Leonard to the San Antonio Spurs for George Hill. Indiana believed Hill was the perfect hometown point guard to complement Paul George. Kawhi became a Finals MVP, a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and one of the best two-way players ever. Now we have the Miami Heat. In 2024, the Heat traded Kyle Lowry and a 2027 first-round pick to the Charlotte Hornets for Terry Rozier. Miami wanted more scoring and believed Rozier could revive their offense. Instead, Rozier struggled with efficiency, the team didn't improve, and Miami lost a valuable future pick. This was a rare moment where the Heat's front office misread the moment. Next up, the Milwaukee Bucks. In 1998, the Bucks traded the draft rights of Dirk Nowitzki to the Dallas Mavericks for Robert Traylor. Milwaukee believed Traylor's size made him NBA ready, while Dirk was seen as a risky European project. Dirk became a league MVP, a finals MVP, and one of the greatest forwards to play the game. Next up, the New York Knicks. In 2013, the Knicks traded a 2016 first-round pick, 2 seconds, and Steve Novak to the Toronto Raptors for Andrea Bargnani. New York believed Bargnani could revive his scoring and stretch the floor. Instead, he struggled with injuries and inconsistency, while the pick became Jakob Poeltl, a high-level starting center. This trade was peak Knicks chaos. Next up, the Orlando Magic. In 2016, the Magic traded Victor Oladipo, Domantas Sabonis, and Ersan Ilyasova to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Serge Ibaka. Orlando wanted a defensive anchor to speed up their rebuild. Ibaka lasted 1 season, Oladipo became an All-NBA guard, and Sabonis became a multi-time All-Star. This was a 2-star gift. Now we have the Philadelphia 76ers. In 1986, the Sixers traded Moses Malone, Terry Catledge, and 2 first-round picks to the Washington Bullets for Jeff Ruland and Cliff Robinson. Philly believed Ruland could replace Malone's production. Ruland played only 5 games due to injuries. Next up, the Toronto Raptors. In 2004, the Raptors traded Vince Carter to the New Jersey Nets for Alonzo Mourning, Aaron Williams, Eric Williams, and 2 first-round picks. Toronto wanted to move on from a fractured relationship. Mourning refused to report, the Williams duo made little impact, and the picks didn't become stars. Vince revived his career and became an All-Star again. To close the Eastern Conference, we have the Washington Wizards. In 1998, the Wizards traded Chris Webber to the Sacramento Kings for Mitch Richmond and Otis Thorpe. Washington wanted veteran leadership and stability. Richmond was past his prime, Thorpe was nearing retirement, and the Wizards stayed stuck in mediocrity. Webber became an MVP-caliber star and led Sacramento to its greatest era. Moving on to the Western Conference, we have the Dallas Mavericks. In 2025, the Dallas Mavericks made the most shocking move in franchise history, trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. Dallas believed the relationship with Luka had reached a breaking point and convinced themselves that Davis could anchor a new defensive identity while keeping their playoff window alive. But the move backfired instantly. Luka turned the Lakers into immediate title contenders, while Davis battled injuries and never returned to MVP form. This wasn't just a bad trade, it was a full franchise reset, the kind of mistake that haunts a team for a decade. Now we have the Denver Nuggets, who in 2017, the Nuggets traded the draft rights of Donovan Mitchell to the Utah Jazz for Trey Lyles and the pick that became Tyler Lydon. Denver believed they already had enough young guards and wanted a stretch forward to complement Jokic. Mitchell became a multi-time All-Star and one of the league's most explosive scorers. Next up, the Golden State Warriors. In 1980, the Warriors traded Robert Parrish and the number 3 pick to the Boston Celtics for the number 1 pick, which they used on Joe Barry Carroll. Boston used the number 3 pick to draft Kevin McHale. Parrish and McHale became Hall of Famers and pillars of a dynasty. Carroll was solid but never a star. This trade didn't just hurt, it helped build a rival dynasty. Now we have the Houston Rockets. In 1982, the Rockets traded Moses Malone to the Philadelphia 76ers for Caldwell Jones and a first-round pick. Houston didn't want to pay Malone's new contract and believed Jones could fill the gap. Malone immediately won MVP and led Philly to a championship. Moving on to the Los Angeles Clippers. In 2011, the Clippers traded an unprotected first-round pick and Baron Davis to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Mo Williams and Jamario Moon. The Clippers wanted to dump Davis's contract and didn't expect the pick to be valuable. The pick became Kyrie Irving, a future champion and superstar. Next up, the Los Angeles Lakers. In 2021, the Lakers traded Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Montrezl Harrell, a first-round pick, to the Washington Wizards for Russell Westbrook. LA believed Westbrook would form a new Big Three with LeBron and AD. Instead, the fit was disastrous. The spacing collapsed, and the defense regressed, and the Lakers' depth evaporated overnight. Now we have the Memphis Grizzlies, who in 2008 traded Paul Gasol to the Los Angeles Lakers for Kwame Brown, Javaris Crittenton, Aaron Mackay, the rights to Marc Gasol, and 2 first-round picks. Memphis wanted to rebuild and shed salary. Paul became the missing piece for 2 Lakers championships. Next up, the Minnesota Timberwolves. In 1996, the Timberwolves traded the draft rights of Ray Allen to the Milwaukee Bucks for Stephon Marbury. Minnesota wanted a dynamic point guard to pair with Kevin Garnett. Marbury left after a few seasons, while Allen became one of the greatest shooters in NBA history and a Hall of Famer. Now we have the New Orleans Pelicans. In 2011, the Pelicans traded Chris Paul to the Los Angeles Clippers for Eric Gordon, Chris Kaman, Al-Farouq Aminu, and a first-round pick. New Orleans wanted young talent and a fresh start. Gordon battled injuries, Aminu never became a star, and the pick didn't change the franchise. Meanwhile, CP3 turned the Clippers into a perennial contender. Moving on to the Oklahoma City Thunder. In 2012, the Thunder traded James Harden to the Houston Rockets for Kevin Martin, Jeremy Lamb, and 2 first-round picks. OKC didn't want to pay Harden's extension and believed Martin could replace his scoring. Harden became an MVP and one of the greatest offensive players ever. Next up, the Phoenix Suns. In 2004, the Suns traded Joe Johnson to the Atlanta Hawks for Boris Dio and 2 first-round picks after refusing to pay him. Phoenix believed they could replace his production. Johnson became a 7-time All-Star and one of the best scorers of the 2000s. Now we have the Portland Trail Blazers. In 1976, the Blazers traded Moses Malone to the Buffalo Braves for a first-round pick. Portland believed they had enough front court depth and didn't see Malone as a future star. Malone became a 3-time MVP and one of the greatest centers ever. Moving on to the Sacramento Kings. In 2018, the Kings passed on Luka Doncic and drafted Marvin Bagley III, while the Mavericks traded up to get Luka. Sacramento believed Bagley's athleticism and upside made him the better fit. Luka became a generational superstar. Next up, the San Antonio Spurs. In 2018, the Spurs traded Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green to the Toronto Raptors for DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and a first-round pick. San Antonio wanted stability after Kawhi's trade request. Kawhi won a championship immediately. Finally, we have the Utah Jazz. In 1982, the Jazz traded the draft rights of Dominique Wilkins to the Atlanta Hawks for John Drew, Freeman Williams, and cash. Utah was dealing with financial issues and needed immediate help. Wilkins became a Hall of Famer and one of the greatest scorers ever. Those were some of the worst trades in every NBA team's history. Let me know in the comments which trade was the absolute worst and which one you think I should have done instead. I'll be responding to everything. If you've enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and stick around because we've got plenty more NBA deep dives coming.